Good evening, everyone, and welcome to QPAC Live, a program of the Queensborough Performing Arts Center. We are so happy to have you here with us this evening. You know, we come to you live every week to celebrate the arts with programs that are exciting and unique, and tonight is no exception. I have been looking forward to this evening for a long time. Now, it's a little different from when we're all at the theater together. Tonight, we're able to talk to each other. So you can just go ahead and place your questions or comments right below the broadcast as you're watching. And I'm going to be able to respond to you. And so is our special guest artist. So we welcome you. We know some of you are watching on Facebook and some of you are watching on YouTube. And we're happy to have you share this evening with us as we kick off the weekend. Just a few announcements before we begin. Our Gotta Dance for the kids is in full swing. And tomorrow is our second workshop. It begins at 11 o'clock. This is a virtual workshop, a fabulous dance workshop for the kids 8 to 14 years old. And also, it's a great way to introduce them to Broadway music, Broadway choreography. We'd love to have you join us. It's only $5, $5 a workshop. We have a terrific teacher. So if you know someone who you think might enjoy this program, do tell them about it and hop on the website and sign up. Also, we have coming up October 11th, a Sunday at 7 p.m., the Nelsons. Do you remember the Nelsons? My God, they had a number one hit. They had a whole bunch of hits on the pop charts. They are the twin sons of Ricky Nelson. Ricky Nelson, who of course had a tremendous number of hits, Garden Party, and just so many others. These are his twin sons who have their own fame. They're also the grandchildren of Ozzie and Harriet Nelson. So I would say that they are rock and roll royalty, and they're going to be with us on Sunday, October 11th. It's going to be a great time at 7 o'clock. They're going to play for you an acoustic set, and then we're going to be able to ask them some questions. So do join us. And then, if that wasn't enough, on October 13th, we are back with Name That Tune. And are you ready? Name That Tune, October 13th. The theme, disco. Now, for those of you that know me, you know how I feel about disco. There's nothing more serious to me than my disco music. So this is going to be great. I'm certainly going to play along. There are going to be a lot of surprises. So you're going to want to tune in on Tuesday, October 13th at 7 p.m. for Name That Tune. So now let's get started with the program for tonight. What is going on? What is going on with my connection? I don't understand. Something's funny is going on. Do you see that? It could only mean that REZA's in the house and he's playing a joke on me, or something is going on. Well, then that means it's time to introduce our guest. REZA is recognized as one of today's most highly sought after illusionists. REZA's tour and television appearances have astounded over 30 million viewers. Known as a magician prodigy when he was younger, today he's one of the fastest rising stars. We are so happy to have him, as seen on Duck Dynasty and Penn and Teller's Fool Us, among many other shows. REZA, come on in, join us.
Hey, Susan.
Yay, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I don't know what was going on, but there was some crazy stuff going on with our broadcast, and I could only assume you're doing something behind the scenes.
I don't know whether to take credit or apologize, but
We are
Maybe
happy.
that was the first trick.
Well, we are happy to have you here with us tonight. And I'm going to turn the show over to you, ladies and gentlemen. Gather up, get close. This is going to get crazy. Enjoy REZA. We'll see you in just a bit.
Awesome. Well, I love doing magic with ordinary things, ordinary objects, and things people can relate to. And I don't think there's anything people can relate to more than Oreo cookies. I think there's a lot that divides us as people, but there's a few things that bring us together. And I have yet to meet someone who doesn't like Oreo cookies. But there is an issue I've found with them, and I want to show you what I've figured out with it. The best part, I think we can all agree, is the cream. And some people even eat the cream first. If you're not familiar, it looks like this little twist. Cream first, which is great. But then the problem is you're just left with the cookie. So here's the solution. Watch carefully. Just like that. Now this is where we unfortunately miss some of the live audio, but I think you can see. Oh, here, hold on. Let me see this a little better. It's actually double stuffed. Just like that. So with that, let me see if we can dial somebody in here. Susan, if there's someone who can help us as a participant, I'd love to bring him on.
We're gonna bring in Gregory. Gregory, come on and join us.
How you doing, Reza? How are you? That was funny. I like that trick.
Hey, Gregory.
How you doing?
Thank you so much. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fantastic, man. Thank you for asking.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'd love to try something with you before we go any further, just so anybody watching is totally clear. You have no idea what's about to take place.
Not a clue. Just met you this second.
Okay, awesome. And that is the truth. Gregory, have you ever had a song stuck in your head before?
Yes.
And like the lyrics are going through your mind, you just can't get it out. And have you ever had it happen where you're thinking of the song and all of a sudden someone that you're with starts to hum or sing the song that you've been thinking of?
It's been a while, but yeah, it's happened.
But it's happened to you. When you stop to think about that, it's impossible. I don't think we appreciate in the moment how impossible it is, but a thought, in this case, a song or lyrics or melody, jump from our minds into someone else's, and it's impossible. I want to see if that can happen right now. So do you have anything to write with handy? Pen, paper? Awesome. Grab that. And right now I want you to think of the last song that got stuck into your mind.
Okay.
But I'm gonna add something to that. Think back to the last song that got stuck in your mind that everybody here watching would know. So not maybe like one of the deep tracks, but something very familiar, because it's important that everybody watching, when you tell them in a moment what you're thinking of, can hear it in their own heads as well.
I hope, because I listen to a lot of old school music, so we'll see.
Well, I'll open up possibilities. It could even be Happy Birthday. Now, don't choose that for the Star Spangled Banner, but it could be something like that if you'd like. I'm not trying to influence you, just opening up even more possibilities than maybe what you can even think of right now. Once you have one, I want you to write it on the piece of paper, but don't let me see it just yet. Do you have one in your head?
The name of the song or
the song, especially if you know the artist, hold that in your mind, but just the name of the song.
Well,
you have it?
I know the artist for a fact.
Okay. So if you can think of a name of a song, and you can switch songs if you want to, but do you have something now where you know the name of the song exactly?
I believe it. I know the name of it, but I know the lyrics like to the T. But the name of it, I should have it.
You can change if you want to, just so you're sure. And once you have it locked in, I want you to tell.
I think this is the name of the song.
Okay, okay. Look right at me. Don't say it, just think of it. Look right at me. Okay. Okay, write it down right now.
Okay.
Okay, and I want this to be fair. I'm going to put this just like this, so I can't touch anything. Hold up the camera and show everybody. Don't say it out loud because we're all aware of the technology that exists amongst us when you do that. But just hold it up and show it to everybody so they can put it in their minds as well.
Right. Let me write it clear.
Yeah, as clear as you can. And this is not an advertisement, by the way, for REZA pop sockets, but I'm noticing that's good product placement right there. So that's just a total bonus.
So you want me to show right now?
Yeah, hold up and show it to everybody.
I hope you, well, let's see if you can see it.
I'll close my eyes. It doesn't matter, but I'll close my eyes. Here, I'll go like this. Can you put it down?
Okay.
I'm going to open my eyes. It didn't matter if I did see it or not, because what I have is already locked in. I'm not going to touch it. In fact, I'll show you that I've already written something into my browser here, right? So if you saw that, think of it in your mind, everybody, if you know the song and the melody, because what I want to do is play for you my favorite Fleetwood Mac song. For the first time, what was the name of the song?
Freedom. So by
Freedom? That is Fleetwood Mac, and that is Freedom.
There you go.
Right there. Gregory, thank you very much. I'll give you a round of applause. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Very cool. Very cool.
I appreciate you. Thanks for being a part of that.
Flipped out. Oh my God. Okay, I'm going away. Are you done with Gregory?
Temporarily.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, actually, Gregory, I am done with that. But if you want to stay tuned in for a second, I can't teach you obviously how that works, but I can show you and everybody else something that I can teach you how it works. So if you've got a bottle of water at home, you can do this trick yourself. I'm going to show you something that you can do at home using not the bottle, but the cap.
Okay.
Right? Trying to get it to go someplace it's never been before. Right there.
Very cool.
Actually inside, right there. Now, Greg, I'll teach you how it works, but before I do that, do you have a guess as to how that happened? Mary, I see you commenting, wow. Greg, do you have a guess as to how the cap got in the bottle?
I believe you still have it in your hand, and it was slipped in on the top of the hole.
It goes right through the hole?
No, you have it. I think you still have it behind your hand. If it is,
yeah, right here.
Is that either that or you have a slit in the bottle?
A slit in the bottle. That those are both really good guesses. You can do it both ways, honestly. So what I'm going to teach you is how I did it, but don't limit yourself to that because anybody can do this. And this is something you can do at any age. It's very simple. So it's a cap, and you're absolutely right, an extra cap right here. But there are no slits. And the way this works is if you grab one of the caps that are thin, you can bend it and just pop it inside. And I'll show you the move right here. It starts like this. So your hand covers the cap, and you're ready to begin, right? So that's the first part. Hand covers the cap just like that. And when you start, it's a little subtlety, but you don't want to say, hey, look, I have an empty bottle. And the reason why is when you say that, people start to question it.
Correct.
Is it really empty? And they're going to look and see, and they might bust you. So instead, you want to just say, I have a bottle. I drink all the water. By doing that, they made their own assumption that it's empty, but it's a little subtlety.
Correct.
All I have to do now is rotate the bottle like this, and from behind the scenes, you see that the cap is really hidden by your hands right there. And then the other cap, which they know about, is going to go in a moment against the label. I do it on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, and on the count of 3, I simply grab the bottle with the hand holding the cap like this, turn it, and shake it, and it creates the illusion that went inside. And what's really cool is when the cap goes up and then it falls back down. I'll show it to you. 1, 2, 3, because that falling down really sells it, that it goes into the bottle. And there's one thing left to do, and it is to remove the additional cap, which is against the label, so nobody can see it anyway around. And that's just by pointing at the bottle and handing it to them. They can actually take this, they'll never be able to get the cap back out, and they can keep it for the rest of their lives and not figure out how you did it, as long as they don't know this. By transferring it and just pointing at that, as you do that, it does two things. By pointing, it allows you to hold the cap hidden in the hand. This obviously looks like something in your hand. Just by this, human nature has trained us to go, oh, that's a gesture we're aware of. You're just pointing at something. So it does that. It does two things. It also hides the cap while misdirecting and putting all the attention right there on the bottle. Hand it out. And whether you're 6 or 106 watching, you do that trick. There you go. I'll teach you guys one. What do you think?
Very good. Very good. Very good. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Sarah says, what if you have small hands? Small hands are no problem because the palm of your hand, you can actually hide that right here. So this is a little awkward, but the palm of your hand right here can hide it. I'll show you one more option that you can do. And see the cap here. Look, I'll get a little closer like this. Disappears. Very simple, very easy. If you didn't catch it, cap is right here. All you do is pretend to grab it. So I'll do it from the side. With your thumb, you're going to actually miss the cap. So it allows your fingers just to push it into your lap and you miss the cap. And as you pretend to grab it, the cap simply goes into your lap and you come up with an empty hand. And that way your palm can be hiding the extra cap, and then boom, a miracle right there. A little tip too, when you're learning this move, do it with coins as well. A little tip is to start by actually grabbing the item off the table several times. Literally grab it every time. And that trains you on exactly how to move with your hand and the movement, and make it natural so that when you do the move, it appears like a miracle. So there you go. Thanks for joining us on that, Gregory. Thanks for the comment and asking about extra bonus feature there. So that's the only one I hopefully am going to teach you guys. Unless I mess something up, you'll learn another one. There that goes. But you don't want to mess up dangerous tricks, right? That's the thing. But I can try to not mess up a dangerous trick. Susan, do we have somebody else as well that might be able to jump in?
We do. Gregory, we'll see you in a little bit.
Thank you, Gregory.
Let's get Diana in. Hey, Diana, how are you?
Hey, I'm great.
This is REZA.
Happy
Awesome,
to be here.
Diana.
Hi, REZA.
Thank you. Now I'm going to put a lot of trust into you. Maybe you've seen this video. It's gone viral. It's a guy taking it's a sharp object, like a piece of broken glass, a spike or something sharp, and he puts it under a paper bag and then has empty bags placed around it. So one of the bags is dangerous, and he slams his hand down the bag.
Yes, I've seen that.
You've seen that? You probably see the different versions. Again, there's glass, there's spikes, there's nails, but you've probably seen the version where it goes wrong, because that's one that gets shared mostly, where he slams his hand down and it goes through his hand out the other side. So Diana, I'm going to put a lot of trust into you right now, and you and I are going to try and recreate this stunt, except I hope we give it a better ending. So we've got some bags, some blocks of wood I'll show you in a second, and of course a bottle. Now it's not dangerous yet. But once we break the glass, now we've got something that could literally injure you. And what I want to do is make this impossible. So I'm going to cover up what will now be the bottle with the dangerous bag, like this. And that leaves the safe bags. These over here, they just have the blocks of wood with holes drilled to the center of them like this. And we'll also just mix things up a little bit. Right. Diana, are you following? Do you see where the bottle is?
Yes.
You think you know?
I think so, yes.
Okay. How certain are you, 0 to 100%?
Now
You know.
I'm not that certain.
Not that certain? Here. What I'm going to do, get these close together here, is I'll label these. 1,
Okay.
2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Can you see the marks okay?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. So we'll start with the first one. So it'll be 4, but it's the one closest left to right, and we'll just work our way over. Your decision, is this dangerous or safe? You decide.
Safe.
Safe. You make every decision. You said safe. Okay. 1 for 1. That leaves 3 bags. Again, you decide. Rather than going next bag like I normally would, let's make it more interesting. You name a number, it'll be the next bag that I eliminate.
1.
1 over here.
1. Yes.
1, 2. That leaves 2 more.
3.
3. This is the next one to eliminate, correct?
Correct.
Now, if you want to, you can change it. I'm not saying that you should. I'm just saying that you can. Even up until the last moment, you can say stop and I'll change bags. Just so you know that you're completely in control right now. Just don't wait until later tonight to wish you're doing something differently now. So if you feel it, feels wrong, just stop me. 1, 2, last chance to change it. Keep it or change it. What do you want to do?
Keep it.
Diana, thank you very much. Kids, please do not try that at home ever.
That was insane.
Ever.
Thank you. That was insane.
Thank you, Diana. Yeah.
Thank you.
There's a couple more things I want to show you quick, and I see that we're running out of time. So let's do one more. Who do we have, Susan? Do we have somebody else that can join us?
We do. We have Joni. Come on in, Joan.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Joan. I'm good. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I want to try something with you. It's something that I originally created for a show called Penn and Teller Fool Us on the CW. And the concept of the show, if you haven't seen it, is to try and go on and fool the smartest 2 people in magic. And I did it with a card trick. And the reason why I chose a card trick is I wanted to choose the most simple, basic thing, but then do it in a way that's never been done before. Most card tricks, it's pick a card, any card, and somebody reaches in and grabs one. But that moment right there is so suspicious because anything could happen. You could be forced to pick a certain card. Once it comes back in the deck, you have the ability to use sleight of hand. So I wanted to eliminate every possibility. So Joan, by saying that, I want you to pick a card, but do it in the most impossible way. I have no influence over you. There's no real cards. They exist only in your mind. You're just going to simply think of one and say it out loud.
Okay.
Go for it.
8
Yeah,
of
yeah.
diamonds. 8 of diamonds.
8 of diamonds. 8 diamonds. So there's no way I could have known or influenced you. The cards don't even exist. You could have said anything.
Never seen
Now,
you.
exactly. Now, just to give me one more possibility, name another card. What else would you have said?
King of Hearts.
King of Hearts. Okay, so 8 of diamonds, King of Hearts. And we've already established that you're not in on it. There's no way to have either influenced or manipulated the card, because the cards don't even exist. So let's make the cards exist, right? We'll make them exist. And I'm going to do this in the most impossible way, not only in having you make these free selections, but I don't want this to be a trick. I want this to be a stunt. Okay. Now, if we're together, say that again, Joan.
It's going to freak me out, but go ahead.
I'm going to try and freak you out. So first, here's what I'm going to do. Let me make cards. The cards exist now, right? So this is a normal pack. They're all mixed up, no particular order. Mixed up. No rhyme or reason. And you've selected 2 cards already. Select one more. Just as I go through here, just call one out that you like. I don't know if you see them. I'm sorry, hold them up like this. Just yell one out.
9 clubs.
The 9. Okay. So this card does not matter in any way. But your other cards do. I'm gonna riffle through like this. Mixed up. I'm gonna take the 9 again to make it impossible. Not a trick, but a stunt. I'm just tossing it inside randomly. Anywhere. It could have landed anywhere. The 9 has not left your sight. And it just landed directly between 2 random cards.
You gotta be kidding me.
What were the cards that you said?
8 of diamonds and King of hearts.
8
of diamonds.
of diamonds.
What?
And King.
Shut up. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. I'm a little freaked out right now, gotta be honest. That is amazing.
Thank you, Joan.
Oh my God, thank you.
I appreciate it.
Unbelievable. Wow.
Thank you so much. It was great to virtually meet you.
You too.
Thank you. Hey, Susan, do we have one more person that can jump on for one more thing real quick? I know we're running out of time, but we'll do it real fast.
Well, let's see. Reza, I think we may be. I'm looking for somebody else to jump on. Can you do something for another minute and let me see if I can get someone to jump in?
Let's bring Joan back on. Is that okay? Can we bring Joan back?
Sure. I still have Gregory hanging out with us and Diana too. So, all right, Joan's coming on. Hold on.
You pick. Okay.
There she is.
Hi. Good to see you.
Joan,
again.
you're back. You're back. One more thing I want to try quickly with you. Now, you just thought of 2 cards, so this might work for you. But I also have one more question. What's the weirdest candy bar? Like if you had a dollar bill and you're able to purchase any candy bar with that dollar bill in existence, if you think back just through your entire life, not Hershey's or Snickers, but is there like a weird, crazy, bizarre candy bar that you remember having that if you had that dollar bill, you'd purchase that one just to go back in time, that nostalgia? It could be anything. I don't want to influence you, but did that kind of ring a bell for you?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the name, I don't know if it was called Sky Bar or something. It had all these little different flavors.
Sky Bar.
It may not be the name, but yeah, it may not be the name, but I mean.
Well, what about this? What's one that you know the name of? Not Sky Bar, but
looking at me, I ain't gonna turn down a Snickers if you offer me one. I love a Snickers.
I did mention that, Hershey's and Snickers. So think back through your entire life. One. Nestle Crunch Bar. If you had a dollar, that's what you'd buy. And can you almost like taste it in your mind? Like when was the last time you had it?
I feel like, oh God, 100 years ago, but I could feel the crispy inside.
Yeah. If I turn this around and it said Nestle Crunch, would that be incredible?
In REZA, you're gonna flip me out.
It would be amazing. No, that's not true. No. Joan, that would be incredible. That would be amazing. Here's the thing. still there, right, Joan?
Yeah, I'll keep my profile.
I can't see you. You're still there?
I won't speak too loud. Oh my God.
Okay, look.
You got it.
If it said Nestle Crunch, it would be an amazing trick, but I want to go a few steps farther.
That thing is locked. I don't think I'm
So I
asleep.
told you about a dollar.
Yeah. Shut up. Shut up. No way. Look, I can't. Are you kidding? How did you do that?
But here's the crazy part about all this. It was never about the dollar or about the crunch. It was about going back in time.
Oh no! I don't even get what? Oh my God! I'm not going to sleep tonight. Thank you. What? That's messed up. That is messed up. Come on.
I can't breathe. I'm just saying, I can't breathe. No,
Wait,
I
where
can't.
did you ever think?
Wait a minute. I never even heard. Wait a minute.
Oh,
I've never heard of a sky bar. Joni, what's a sky? I've never even heard of a sky bar.
When I was younger, that was like my favorite candy. Each little thing has a different, like, kind of creamy flavor. Oh my! What? I get. How? He's sitting there looking at me. I was, what? You're so calm. I'm like ready to pass out. Holy!
The best.
You're amazing, and I want to
Oh,
tell you,
thank
I've
you.
seen a lot of mentalists. You rock, my friend.
Thank you. Well, I'm looking forward to getting back to a normal way of performing there. But this has been a real treat, a real opportunity. So
Don't be
Joan.
surprised if I'm in touch. I do events, so don't be surprised.
Uh-oh.
all right,
Joan, thanks for staying
2021.
with us. I want to just say a big thank you. We're going to bring back on Gregory to say thank you.
Very
And we're
good,
going to bring
man.
on Diana to say
God
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
for participating. Thank you so much. I can't stand it. You know, I have to tell our friends how I met you, and the candy bar trick that you just did sort of brings it back because I was at a convention, and at this convention they have a lot of different acts showcasing, and I knew you were going to do some of your show, and I came in and you did something similar. There was a locked chest, I think it was, and it was locked. It had like 3 different locks around it, and I was out in the audience, and you had us toss around this ball. And you just said, keep tossing it around, keep tossing it around. And I mean, forgive me if I don't remember every detail, but you had us do that so that you couldn't pick who ended up being the
Right.
participant. Okay.
Right.
And so it was just, we were just throwing balls randomly. And then at one point it stopped, and that was the person with whom you did this trick. And it was something similar. I think you had asked her like 3 different things. I think maybe one was a candy bar. One was it the name of her first pet or something? It was something insane. And then there was a third thing. It was just insanity. And of course, you hadn't met before. And then you open the chest, and one by one, you reveal her answers. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. And that was when I just fell in love with what you do. I
Thank you.
wanted
I
I,
would
wa-
have settled for goosebumps, by the way, but heart attack, that's even better.
I was out of my heart was literally because you know what it is? You don't often get to be like this close. And I was right there. And I just, it takes a lot to sort of pull one over on me. Um, but no, I was pretty humbled that night. And I want to tell everybody right now you're doing a residency in Branson. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So, guys, I don't know if any of you are watching from there. You need to go and see REZA's entire show. It is spectacular. But we intend to have REZA perform for us here in Queens just as soon as that becomes possible. So, I just want to ask you a few questions, and I know that some of our viewers want to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind. How did you become interested in magic?
I started at 6, and it started with a magician who came to my elementary school and asked for volunteer, and I was volunteering and ended up on stage. And so I was with him in front of my whole school. We had these rings; they were solid steel rings, and then in front of my eyes, they linked and unlinked. And that was the first trick I went home, and I told my parents actually that night. I was telling them I want to be a magician when I grow up. So I'm sure they were really happy to hear that, but they were supportive. And so they bought me a magic kit when I turned 7. And in the kit, there was a miniature version of the rings. And so I'd practice that. And then my parents just could tell I was serious. So I was just a young kid with a dream, and they helped me turn it into a business and give me the guidance and advice, and just like any good parent would. But this was just something very outside the box. But it's just that magician when I was young who inspired me, and I was just lucky enough to have those doors open to pursue it.
You were so wonderful. You were a mentor. We had a program, Do You Believe in Magic? And you were a mentor. Actually, I believe Max is watching tonight. You mentored one of the students that we had sign up for that program, Max, and he came on one of our shows and showed us his magic, and he was outrageous. And I suspect that he's busy learning a whole bunch of new tricks since that time he spent with you. What an exciting time that had to have been for him. So, is there growing up, was there a particular magician or illusionist that really spoke to you?
I grew up watching David Copperfield perform, and so that was incredible. And that was a different time. That was the TV specials on Thanksgiving night, or just the ones that you look forward to. Now it's totally different. We don't have those same types of TV specials anymore. So now it's a lot of Instagram celebrities or YouTube videos. But at that point, that's what I would do. And then after that, it was the masked magician. So a lot of people say, what do you think about the masked magician revealing all the secrets? But when I was growing up, that first came on TV, and I was the kid that didn't know how the tricks worked. I was inspired by David Copperfield, didn't know how they worked. And so I was watching the masked magician to figure out how they worked. And then I went home I was already home, but I went, to the garage and to build my version of these tricks as a kid. So in a way, it did inspire me, even though it is, I think, sad that people have too much of a view behind the curtain from that show. I think it ruins it, because when you don't know how it works, you get that sense of wonder and amazement. It's a rare feeling, especially with everything going on in our lives, even, today. There's, I think, something really cool about just being a kid again for a moment. So when that's destroyed, it's like going to Disney, and rather than experiencing the ride, you're up there looking at the cables or seeing the track below you. You just experience it differently. So I wish that I could go back and I could see these things like I used to. It's a curse, but the only way that I can get that feeling is I watch the audience. So while they're watching the show, which is on stage, I'm watching them. When I see them experiencing it, I live it through them, and that's kind of my way of keeping that magic for me.
It's I mean, I don't know. For me, it's like so much more than magic. I mean, that last trick that you just did, Sky Bar is not a popular candy bar, Reza. It's not Hershey's. It's not Snickers. I've never heard of it. Just the idea that Joan would come up with that, bar. I mean, that's not normal. That is just not normal. So I just love that. Let me ask you, I know it's kind of crazy because I've seen you, of course, I've seen you live, and you do a lot of sort of mind reading. Do you think I mean, do you have sort of a sixth sense? Have you, did you ever think that maybe you were a little psychic or no?
Not that necessarily, because I can, the people that claim to have these superpowers, I can see through it and see what they're actually doing. I've never seen anybody have any real powers. What I do see is people who understand human behavior and psychology.
Yeah.
Even when you're playing poker, you can't read someone's mind, but you can be confident enough in what they're thinking to push all in. So that's kind of the same level that I get. I can be confident enough to essentially push all in terms of knowing what they're thinking, to the degree of maybe I can put it on paper, turn it around, and have it be correct.
I think, that's interesting. Wait a minute, hang on here. Here he is. Max is with us. So hi, Max. We see you. Max was the little young man who you mentored. So he is with us. He wanted to say a quick hello. I want to ask you a question.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Before you do that, I may mute. I'm at a venue. I'm just getting ready to go on stage, and the fire alarms are going off here.
Well,
so I'm going to mute my mic. I'll let you talk to Max for a second, so we don't have everybody listening to the fire alarm. So I'll still see you, but I'll mute for a second.
Okay, well, Reza, but please, if the fire alarm is going off and you need to leave, then you need to go. I wonder if it's one of your illusions that's setting off the alarms. I guess I wanted to ask you one other quick question. Maybe we can get it in. There's Max. He's saying hi, and we're saying hi back. Did you ever have a really big illusion go wrong? Did you ever have an illusion that went wrong on stage? Can you just tell us about that? If the alarms have settled down, can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So little things go wrong all the time. Susan, can you still hear me okay over the noise?
Yes, we can.
Still hear me okay? And if you start to see fire, will you tell me?
Yes.
If you see fire behind me, will you let me know? Okay.
Yes, I will.
I think they just got turned off, so we're good now. I'm fairly confident the fire department didn't turn off the fire alarms before my crew turned the haze on. Fairly confident. They didn't read my rider probably in great detail. I'm gonna guess it was that.
Listen, being a presenter, I know all about that. You put that haze on, that's it. The fire alarms are going off. Go ahead.
Here's the clear, I think.
We have inspected the side of the alarm and no emergency exists. I repeat, no emergency exists. Please accept our apologies for the inconvenience, and we appreciate your cooperation.
So there we go. So as a presenter, you always want to read that rider, right?
Right.
Every last page. So things go wrong, little things go wrong all the time. Like that, for example, that was unexpected. And so the real thing you want to do is roll with it. I used to play piano, and one time I was playing and I hit a wrong note and it threw me off and I couldn't go any further. And the whole audience immediately knew at that point I hit a wrong note and I messed up, because they know what the song's supposed to sound like. In magic, they don't know what the ending is. They don't know what the song, so to speak, sounds like. So if something goes wrong, there's an opportunity to take it into a different direction, do it a different way, and have a different outcome. And when that's happened, I've had people come up to me afterwards and think that was all part of the show. So it's very difficult for something to go wrong in a way that you can't recover from it in some way. Now, there's been exceptions to that, of course, but overall, 90% of what happens, the audience has no idea what's even going on. I have a secret microphone. I can hit a button. I can talk to all my crew without anyone else hearing me. So if something is about to go differently, I'm able to create a plan, mute my microphone, give them directions that we're going to do things a little bit differently tonight. And they know me well enough to know what I'm going to do and avoid those catastrophes. But the things that have gone wrong that have not been preventable, recently I couldn't get the kickstand down correctly on the motorcycle. I parked it on stage and it fell and broke my toe. That wasn't great. And I also had
Oh my
a stage, a stage collapse on me, not on me, but underneath me. This is in Mexico, so it's a tall concert stage, and I fell and cut my leg at the bottom of the fall. And I looked down, this was right before a show, and the bone was exposed in my leg. It was like a hot pocket with the bone. My ribs are, of course, bruised, and so they threw me into surgery and stitched me up. And I was back on stage the next day. I was in a wheelchair the entire day, but with the help of a few little pills that they gave me, and maybe some tequila, I'm not sure. They got me back on stage, Acapulco, Mexico, the next day. So those are the things that stick out that definitely were not right, but you roll with the punches.
Those are some serious job hazards. I mean, you've got the motorcycle, you've got the helicopter. I mean, those are some serious hazards.
Yeah, it keeps life interesting for sure.
Now, are you constantly broadening your selection of illusions?
Yeah, always changing things. If an illusion is in the show long enough for me to get bored with it, I don't want to say bored, but what I'm saying, I'll pull it out of the show and I'll reinvent it before it goes back in. So we're always trying to keep things fresh because people come back and see the show time after time. And every time they come back, I want them to see something brand new. So we spend most of our time not necessarily rehearsing, but developing and creating new magic that people have never seen before.
And would you just tell our viewers, as we're coming to a close, because you're about to go on stage, how did you fool Penn and Teller? How was that experience?
It was really cool. And I didn't even know at the time if I fooled them or not, because if you've seen the show, they speak in code to try and figure out what you were doing.
Right.
And nothing was making sense to me, but Penn was so confident that I thought he may have had me. So here's what actually happened. When the cameras cut, I walked backstage not knowing for sure. I thought they figured something out just by the confidence. I was trying to compute what he was saying. And then Penn's wife came backstage and she could hear the microphones because they're being listened to by judges and her and whoever can in the truck behind the theater, and to see if you're right or wrong. And she came backstage and said, "You fooled my husband." And I said, "Really?" And then Penn walked backstage and Tyler walked backstage, and then they told me how they thought, what they did know, what they didn't know. And it was a really cool conversation, both of them back there in the hallway. And Penn's wife was a sweetheart. Keep in touch with her and talk to her. And so it was really cool to not only be a part of the show, but try and reinvent something that I don't think has ever been done before, at least not like that, because there's so few methods in magic. There's probably 12 different things you can do between appear, disappear, cut in half, read someone's mind, teleport, and then you start running out of things to do. And so the hardest thing is creating that new division of magic, and it was really exciting.
Well, the whole cut the thing in half and all that kind of stuff, as an audience member, it never really gets old, I don't think, because when you're called up to participate in an illusion like that, you've seen it before, and now you're the assistant, let's say, and it really, when I was asking some of our viewers, for example, it really does a job on your mind, because, and I just don't think it gets old, because when I was asking some of our viewers, the first question was, "Oh my God, is he going to cut me in half? Is he going to all that kind of, all those images come up in your mind." And, I don't know. I just don't think it ever gets old. But you do some very unique illusions. Okay, well, I'm really excited about having the helicopter show up at the theater and the motorcycle. And what else should we expect? What other large items should we expect?
Expect the unexpected.
Great. Great. I do know it's, and I think it's really cool because I remember reading through your rider when you were supposed to come, and unfortunately we had to postpone it, but we are going to have you. There's no question about it. I remember reading, no one can be backstage, and prior to the show. And I really, I was kind of excited about that because I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know how anything was going to be done. And you really are terrific. In fact, it's interesting. Every illusionist has sort of their own style. I think with Penn and Teller, they're quite good, but then they also have that sort of comedic exchange. And what I found really charming about you, Reza, is that you have a really fabulous sense of humor that comes across during your performance.
That's what, is totally different about having a live audience is that feedback, and you can take the show in a different direction and work off of that audience. This is cool. This is something that I think is very important, to pivot and be able to do things virtually as well. But yeah, the comedians, especially, different art forms that just rely so much on that connection with the audience. It's a very difficult thing to figure out how to apply that, through a screen like this. But yeah, the whole show is really about that connection. And that's why I use things that are familiar, Oreos and almost everything, in the live show. It's saw blades and motorcycles, spray paint. There's things that people connect to.
The
and
saw,
you mentioned, yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
It's not just the comedic moments, but it's also just the relatability and drawing it all into one, continuous experience that, at the end of it, people leave different than when they came, and experience something that rides the emotions of the wow factor, and maybe even some inspirational moments as well. I hope people take from the show.
Are you a fan of that kind of like grotesque illusions? I'm not really a horror chick, but some of those illusions where, like, they'll stick a knife through, they'll swallow with a knife or something like that. I can't really watch that. Are you a fan of that? Is something that you would do in your act, or not particularly?
I like the unexpected. I like a little bit of shock value. If I ever cross the line, I get a phone call from my mom, though. So.
Wait.
Yeah.
No, what does she do? What does she say?
If I'm ever in danger, she knows the number of shows that I do a year. It's over 200. So she knows if I do something dangerous enough times, I'm going to, at some point, get hurt. So she doesn't like me doing the dangerous things. The grotesque things, there's a fine line. I've done some things in my career, and you can see them on YouTube. If you look up the cow illusion, for example, I don't know if you've seen that, but
cow, COW.
Yeah, you may not want to see it. I don't know, but it would definitely be along those lines of unusual and possibly grotesque. So I've done some things, but it's only because I think people push you to that. That's the kind of thing that people want to see, is they want to cross those lines and those boundaries. But my brand isn't really that. My brand is more of whether you're 6 or 106 or anywhere in between. I want the show to be for you, and I want you to come out and be able to bring the grandkids or get a sitter and just come out for the evening just as adults, and have every single person in that audience feel like the show is for them. And so that's really the ultimate goal.
You do that. We have one last question from our friend here, Ed, and he says, "Hi, Susan and Reza. How much time do you spend working on new illusions?" That's a great question.
A lot of time. I don't think people really comprehend how much goes into something. They see it. The very first version of an idea is usually on a napkin or something that I just draw out, and then we take it and we put it into a 3D visualizer so we can see what it actually looks like. And then we build a prototype, and then we build the actual illusion. Then there's the choreography. Then there's the lighting. Find the perfect music, editing that music, getting permission to use that music. And after all that, so to answer your question as far as how long, that could be anywhere from 4 to 6 months to years. And then once that period of time has run its course, now it's time to put it in the show. We put it in front of the audience, and if they love it, great. And if they don't, that might get taken out of the show that same night, and all that work is for nothing, because you never know what it's going to be like until you put it in front of a live audience. So there's definitely a process behind it. And the payoff to me, all that work, is the response from the crowd. You know, we'll get those standing ovations, or those big energetic moments. And even sometimes the ones where they don't know how to react to just a gasp, you know, like the Sky Bar, you know, that moment where it's not really like the outward emotion of applause, but almost like speechless. Those different reactions that I'm able to look in the audience to get that is all the payment I need to make all that work worthwhile.
Well, we were so happy to have you with us tonight. You are a tremendous illusionist, a tremendous performer, and this is just a taste of what's to come. I hope that everybody who's watching comes to the Queensborough Performing Arts Center when we have him live on our brand new stage. So we hope you'll be part of the inaugural year, REZA, as soon as we get the okay and the theater is the major renovations have been completed. We hope that you'll be part of that very special year upon our return. So thank you so much for joining us. Have a great show tonight. Break a leg, not really. And we look forward.
I did that, yeah. And Susan, I want to thank you for all the hard work that you've put into developing this to show people. And, you know, I want people to know how dedicated you are and the time and work and effort that you put in yourself, you know, for the enjoyment of everybody who's watching. So I want to thank you.
Oh, that's very nice of you. Thank you so much. Folks out there, please join us October 11th for the Nelsons. We're going to take you back to the 80s with them, and before that and after that. And they are tremendous musicians. You're going to love them, and a live performance by them. And then, of course, Name That Tune on October 13th. Have yourself a super weekend. We'll see you soon. QPAC signing off. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, guys.